Hey everyone, Joe here. I almost said Jim Phoenix out of habit, but we've got a spectacular What's Crackin' first one of season, whatever season this is. I've got none other than Charlie Hall with me. Charlie is going to be most known for a zombie hickey. No, not most known for. But we're talking about zombie hickey. So Charlie,
everyone's talking about my zombie hickey.
I know. Thanks for coming on the show. This is pretty cool. You were suggested very highly by someone I admire and look up to. So I just want to say thank you for taking your time and coming on What's Crackin' for our new season and saying hello.
Yep. No, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. And it's really good to get to chat to you.
Yeah, it's amazing how things just kind of work out for right reasons. And I know you've been quite busy with writing and making movies and being in movies and zombies that may or may not have extracurricular activities. I don't know. So everyone really wonders, could you talk about the zombie hickey, please?
Yes, indeed. Well, last week we started filming a short zombie film called Party Politics, which is written and directed by Rhys Davis Santabanis. And I was just so excited because they kind of approached me and said, would you like a part in the film? And I thought, well, I haven't done acting in like many, many, many years. I'm normally behind the camera. I'm normally doing sound or, whatever. And he said, you'll be a police officer. I was like, okay. And he said, but then you're going to be turned zombie. I'm in. I'm totally in. Zombie me up. I was so excited. Yeah. And I mean, we had a wonderful makeup artist, a girl called Zoe, and she literally did all these big bites and loads of blood on all of us. Right. And it's quite funny because you saying about the hickey, because we all had sort of neck bites and they're really gnarly. And everyone kept saying, oh, you look like you got a big hickey. And even my dad in Ireland, when I sent him the pictures, he was like, sweet Jesus, that's a grand hickey, darling. I was like, oh my God, my giant hickey.
As long as you get tagged on Instagram, like Charlie Hall and hickey, like as long as they get like a special tag for it, you're still fine. I love that the first role back in a while is zombie. Like, oh yeah, police. I could probably play a police. I could definitely play a zombie. Like, you just put me in a chair for a while. What's the chair like for zombie makeup? How long does it take? Curious.
I mean, well, because this was just, it was a small short film. Right. We actually had zero budget. So, I mean, we just worked with what we could. We're a good team of friends and we all help each other out, get other people from outside in to help. And it did actually take, because there was about, I think it was 5 or 6 people that needed to be made up for the actual nighttime zombie scene.
Wow.
And it did take, a few sort of hours to get everybody sort of done up, because it was the fact that we had to have all our faces all sort of painted to look like, pasty and dead, and then all the blood and stuff added afterwards. And it's quite funny because when I rang the makeup artist and I just said, hey, we're doing this film, do you want to come and help out and maybe kind of make us all look, shall we say, dead? She was like, yes, absolutely.
I've been waiting all my life for this. Absolutely. I can make people look dead. So you brought the makeup artist in?
Yeah. Because she worked with me on another film, actually.
See, it's a small world type thing. You worked on one film and you roll to another film. You bring the people you like into other adventures. Exactly. That's pretty giving. And you find that in some arts, but I find that more in horror.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the horror community might just be more welcoming to, like, of course we'll help out. This is our jam.
Yeah.
So you got that one. And I know you also have a new film that's going to be in the HorrorCon UK. And I think that's in Sheffield, yes?
Yes, in Sheffield.
Yes. 18th of May, and the film's being screened at 4:30, and it's called, of course, A Lake on the Cabin versus the Cabin on the Lake. The lake's on the cabin this time.
Lake on the Cabin, yeah.
I love it. It's like the switcheroo. So what was your experience with The Lake on the Cabin?
Well, that was actually a film that I was asked to join the crew on. I mean, that's written and directed by Jim Carter and produced by Owen Rees-Dane. Some really lovely guys that got me involved. And I mean, it was fantastic. It was the first sort of bigger film that I've been involved in. I mean, it was properly in a big location out in the country in Crawley, and it literally is.
Really? That's where I got it?
Yeah, It's literally a big, beautiful cabin by a massive lake. And it was just wow. I was like pinching myself, am I really on this film? Yay.
Oh, that's a cool thing. That's a cool thing. So they're screening that at the HorrorCon UK then, and hopefully you get some prizes, I'm guessing. Yes. Well, it will.
I mean, well, with that, it's a really big horror festival over
Yeah.
here. Like it's been going, I think this year as well as its 10th anniversary. So we're
Wow.
really chuffed to be selected for that. And we got 3 awards so far for that film, and it's going through some of the other festivals at the minute. And actually, it was really funny because when we're in the filming, without giving spoilers, but we do have a mannequin in the film, and in one of the scenes, the director wanted to make it, a much bigger scene, and he said, "You know what? I want the mannequin to be over the other side of the lake. Will you take it over there?" We're like, "What? Carrying it over the other side of the lake?" Anyway, so me and the producer, Owen, we kind of. It was winter and it was freezing cold and it was
Oh my
muddy and it
God.
was January and we were carrying this mannequin, half each across this lake. We got over the bridge and oh my goodness, it was just knee deep mud. And it was like some kind of comedy show. The two of us, half
Mm.
hanging onto this mannequin. I got stuck in the mud, tried to pull my feet out. My shoe come off, and
Of
all
course.
of my shoe got full of mud. And I was like, trying to hang onto the mannequin, trying not to fall over. I was like, oh my God, I'm stuck. And then everyone, it's just such a comedy show. And we eventually got out and got this mannequin over the side of the lake and over the other side. And it was a killer shot. Wait till you see it. It's so cool.
Well,
But
it better be. I'm
yeah.
like, it's always like,
Yeah.
yeah, don't lose the prop. We can lose the people though. The people are fine.
Yeah, we
We
nearly
lose
dropped her in
one.
the lake.
Yeah, we'll film it for B footage, but don't lose
Yeah.
the prop though. That's important. That's the
No, she's one of the main parts.
save the mannequin. Got to do it. But
Oh,
that's
it's
a
such
pretty
great fun,
cool.
that film.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I didn't know. I thought like, oh, it'd be a great location. It has to be nice outside or winter, whichever you guys wanted to film in is all good.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely stunning out there, especially when the sun was going down. It just lit up in
I
a
bet.
bright red sky and oh,
Yeah,
stunning over the lake. Really
yeah.
beautiful.
So
But it's quite an intense story, that one, because it's a psychological horror. And it's basically an artist goes to a cabin, for some creative time and
right.
space, and she starts to struggle with, what she thinks is real and what's not real. But is there something else that might be there as well? She doesn't know. So
I like that. I like that. I love horror movies, obviously, and I like the psychological deep burns. Those are my kind of like my jam, and
mm,
I love how they can unplay. And I'm always trying to think of like how would I do this movie with the mannequin and the like.
yeah.
And I'm just saying, just for nothing. If you guys want, I know there's another film festival, and it's in the United States. It's from
Hmm.
Gen Con, which is the biggest gaming festival ever. But they also have
Ah,
a little thing coming out for films as well.
yeah.
That put your head in. Why not? Why not? Why not? It's a great place.
Oh,
Plus,
yeah. It'd be amazing. Yeah.
it's a weekend in somewhere. So you have the films, but oddly enough, we didn't meet because you're doing film.
Hmm.
We kind of met and you're talking about your writing. So you went from writing to film or from acting to writing. What's your trajectory?
Well, I've always been creative. I mean, I started
Right.
off actually when I was younger, I used to write short stories. I used to write poetry. I was actually
Right.
in a signed girl rock band. Yeah, I was in a girl rock band called the Suffrajets. So that's kind of where my career started in music, actually. And then after that, I continued writing, and then I started writing for magazines. So I write for Haunted magazine. I'm brand
Cool.
ambassador, and I used to write for music magazines. And as
Nice.
I said, I sort of dabbled in acting in the past, but sort of not fully got into it because my music career took off,
Yeah.
and then the writing. But now I write for all sorts of people and things, and in the horror industry and the paranormal world as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it sounds like an artist life journey, right? You
Yeah,
start out always in the art somehow, either the writing or performing.
yeah.
Which do you like? Which calls you more? Do you miss the performance part of it, or do you just like I just want to behind the computer screen? I guess now it used to be a typewriter, but
Yeah.
just behind the screen typing some stuff out. What
Yeah.
calls you more?
Well, when I was younger, I lived and breathed music. Music was my
Right.
thing. I didn't do anything other than music. And then when I got my record deal, that was it, traveling and doing, yeah.
Right.
And I think when that kind of finished, I sort of thought, I need some other creative outlet. I've got to find something. But because I'd already touched upon the writing in the past when I did some things for as of music magazines and the short stories that I did, I
Right.
kind of picked up on that. And then because sort of linking that with my paranormal life, because
Right.
I'm a medium as well, and I've always had spirit experiences since I was about 3 years old. Actually, I then thought, "Do you know what? I want to start writing about that more, the paranormal and the horror, and I
Right.
just pursued that, and that's fully what I do now. So,
That's
I love it.
amazing. It's an
Absolutely
amazing
love it.
journey.
Mm.
It's And that's the thing. I've talked to mediums who, especially if they're at a young age when they first have their experiences,
Yeah.
people start to discredit. It's like they'll have a parent or they'll have some adult figure in their life just going, "Stop making stuff up." That doesn't happen, and then just kind of kibosh it forever.
Yeah. Well, do you know, the thing with me is as I mentioned, my dad earlier, I mean, he's a druid, he's a
Right.
mystic. He used to be in Van Morrison, and I didn't know him till I was older, but he was very much obviously into the same thing. And my mum
Cool.
is actually a medium as well.
Oh,
So
so pass through.
yeah, so I was kind of
Right.
brought up with that. Like I remember when I was really young, my mum had loads of books of the unexplained. And I used to
Right.
go through them and look at the ghost pictures and all the things. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, how does that happen? And what's that? And it just really sort of, I was never deterred from it, if you know what I
Good.
mean, because my family were quite intuitive as well and into that kind of stuff. So,
That makes a lot of sense. And I'm wondering sometimes when adults who say like you don't see anything or to the children sometimes, I wonder if it's because they had experiences too, like your mom, and
mm,
then they're like, no, no, you didn't see nothing. And if it's like
yeah.
protecting the child, or maybe that's what told by their grandparents or whatever. And you were more encouraged, which means you
Mm.
could grow your skills from early on then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had my first experience, as I said, when I was about 3 or 4, and my mum and my
Right.
stepdad heard me in another room, like laughing hysterically. And she said, when they went into the room, I was literally like this, rolling around on the floor, laughing.
Yeah.
She sort of said, what are you doing? What's going on? And apparently I turned around and said, oh, it's the man, mummy. The man's tickling me. And they kind of both looked because I think it's just me in the room.
Yeah.
And she said to me, well, who is the man? Describe the man. Now, my mum sort of believes the guy that I described was her father that passed away when she was 13.
Oh wow.
So therefore, I think because my mum, she kind of suppressed things. She
Right.
she sort of didn't use too much of her mediumship until later in life,
Right.
but she never sort of discredited anything I said or anything I saw. Because especially in my teen years, it was like my own horror show. It got really intense. Like, I'd have night terrors. I'd wake up with like
Hmm.
marks on my skin, on my arms, or behind my ear one time from weird dreams that I'd had. And
Right.
I don't know, it's really bizarre. Really bizarre.
So for your teen years,
Hmm.
do you think that's because of the hormonal like shift as we go through puberty and going through our teens? Is that what increased the activity or?
I mean, it may well have been. It could have been that. And I mean, the house that we lived in at that time, there was something so strange about that house.
Right.
I can't explain it, but so many things happened. Like not just for me, for other people. Sort of, like my aunt one time saw a spirit lady float down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's really skeptical as well. And she was like, "Who came down the stairs last night? There was someone in a white gown and a white, and there wasn't anybody."
Right.
And then like another night, I was in my room and I used to see a lady standing over by my bookcase, and there was yeah, it was. I think there was something funny about that house as well. But as you said, maybe it did become more prominent for me because I already
Right.
had those sort of senses and experiences, and maybe being a teen going through, that kind of thing made it even more.
Yeah. So it could be the combination of the location and just the unlocking of, especially if you had it since your first experience when you're 3 years old and going on up.
Yeah,
It's kind of like weightlifting. The more you do it, the stronger you're going to get at it. And
exactly. Yeah.
so you said your mom started coming back to it later on.
Hmm.
Did you ever learn things from her?
Well, it's funny because we used to, I mean, not so much at the minute because obviously I'm so busy with the filming and the writing,
Right.
but we did actually start going on stage together, giving
That's
readings. We sort of
gonna
link
wonder about
into
that.
each other. Yeah.
Okay.
We sense in different ways. Like for my
Yeah.
mum, she gets more of a feeling and she'll just know something. But
Yeah.
with me, I actually see, feel, and hear it. So it's quite
Oh
funny the
wow.
way we're able to connect and we can see
Right.
the same things and talk to the same things, but we actually in our own selves experience it differently, like when it
That's
comes through.
cool.
So it's quite nice. Hmm.
That is very cool. It's one of those things where if you have the ability to share something with
Hmm.
a parent, and it's even deeper because it's more of a spiritual thing you're sharing too. It's like
Yeah.
it's deeply rooted in that, right?
Yeah.
And it's the ability to speak your own language
Yeah.
with them. Now, have you ever seen something that just made you nope out? Like, okay, we're good. Nope, we're good. Time to
Oh, what's
turn
something that
around.
kind of
Time to go.
something that freaked me out a bit.
Yeah.
I think probably because, funny enough, I was talking to someone about this the other day. I sort of tune into anything, whether it's sort of, positive, negative, good, bad, because
Right.
I sort of, for me, feel that everything just is. Like even in our normal everyday lives, you
Right.
experience both, don't you? It's not one or the other. But
Right.
I do sometimes, because it's part and parcel of what I do, get the odd sort of thing where I'm like, oh, don't like it. And I think the last one was probably when I went to the Crumlin Road Jail, which is in Northern Ireland and
Really?
in Belfast. And I remember
Oh.
I went in there and that was intense for me, really intense. And from the minute I sort of walked into the foyer, I felt surrounded, absolutely surrounded. And I was like, oh, okay, just keep walking. And I sort of went through. And when we went into one of the wings on the where there's an upper floor,
Right.
I sensed like a male spirit that was walking back and far, like back and forth, and he was really angry, and it was horrible. And I kept looking down. I'm thinking, don't make eye contact, don't look. And then all of a sudden, the only way I can describe it is he stopped. And I was like, oh my goodness. And he just looked, and it was as though he threw all of his hate, his anger, his everything just shot down to me.
Oh, wow.
And I started getting a heart palpitation. I was like, oh my goodness. And my mum sort of then was like, oh, something's happening. What are you seeing? And I said, just get me out. Please get me out. Get me out right now.
I'm seeing
And
the exit sign. That's what I'm seeing right
yeah.
now.
And I had to, I mean, I was fine. Once I went out, came back
Yeah.
in, it was, I'm just used to it, I suppose. But that's probably the most sort of one that did freak me out a little bit. Yeah.
But that's pretty interesting. And I always wondered about this because sometimes I can see things like you just walking through and the spirits are where they leave. You leave them, they're still there.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's like a sponge. You leave the area, but something attaches with it, you
Yeah.
know?
I've always sort of thought about, because people always ask me about attachments and are you not afraid, like if you go into haunted
Yeah.
houses and, because I do go into places where there's lots of known things. And I think some of it is down to, what people believe. And, like the theory of with a curse, if you really believe that curse or you really think that thing's going to take a hold of you or stay with you,
Yes.
then it will happen because you can make it
Yep.
manifest. And I'm not saying they're not real. I'm not saying they are real because I don't know. I'm exploring and learning and researching like everyone else. But it's funny because had you or somebody asked me 10 years ago, do I fully believe that I am connecting with, dead people, if that's what you want to call it, I would have said 100%, absolutely. But do you know what? After all these years of everything I've learned, everything everywhere I've gone to throughout the UK, I'm not sure what I think it is anymore. And I mean, that's
That's
still
good.
exciting, exploring
Right.
it. But I'm sort of feeling a lot more on the quantum theory now, I think.
Yeah. It's healthy. You should always
Mm,
question.
yeah,
Once I know, it's like, but you always question
exactly.
things and it can always develop and go on from there. That's a healthy way of looking at it. That's fascinating.
And
It
that's
really
the
is.
excitement of it as well, I guess, is
Yeah.
that even though we're all striving to find out something, but like you just said, at the end of the day, if we actually found out what it really is, then we'd be like, oh, what do we do
Okay.
now? Huh?
Yeah. Okay.
It
I'm
is
gonna
the
learn how to make
excitement of it
lasagna
all.
now. I guess I discovered the afterlife. I guess. So that was fine. Okay.
Yeah.
One down. So, are you ever thinking about writing your experiences into like a book or a travel show? Like which is the jail in Belfast. This is our experiences here, and put a little package on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do write about a lot of my experiences through Haunted Magazine. I
Right.
do write, a lot of things with them about where I go and I have started to put together, a book. I have started to put chapters together and ideas, and like you said, it's funny. I have been looking into maybe with some of my filming friends putting together some kind of like a
Yeah.
mini little show or something. I'd
Yeah.
really love to do that. I'd love
Yeah.
to, especially Northern Ireland, because that's kind of my forte. Like, there's so many unknown stories over there that I know a lot about and that I've been to and I've researched and I've experienced, and it would be amazing to do that.
That sounds so great. I'm actually writing down like I should go to Northern Ireland now. That's what I need to do. That's a
It's
brilliant
exactly what
idea.
Lee said.
You're like, oh, it was really scary guy throwing hate at you. Awesome. I can't wait. Hold on. Where's this one at? Belfast jail? Sure.
Yeah.
Write a note down. But that's kind of like that's the community, right? Like, oh, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
It sounds scary as all heck, but it sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
I'd love to experience this. So you've gone from writing short stories and poems to your music career, to some acting and behind the scenes and the film creation, and back to writing.
Mhm.
And it's like the encompassing it of it all, and even on stage as a medium, right?
Yeah.
So you've done all of this, and I was gonna say, if you can give young Charlie a piece of advice in entertainment or just, I won't really say the occult, but entertainment or spirituality matters, right? What would you give young Charlie that advice? What advice would you give?
I would say to young Charlie that she should just go for it and never be afraid.
There
She
you go.
shouldn't have been afraid of so much, and she should have definitely pursued the writing much sooner. She should have really done that, and because
Yeah.
she was good at it even back then, and she loved it, and she had the ideas, but she was so kind of indecisive, and she was like, "Oh, I want to do this and that and do everything," instead of kind of like
Yeah.
grabbing the one of them and going, "Yeah," after the music. That's definitely what I'd say to her.
It's an amazing thing, and I think that's great advice for every young Charlie out there.
Yeah.
Every young Charlie, and I believe that is the best advice you can give to your young selves. Really, it
Mm.
is. Don't be afraid. Just go for it. Swing for the fences.
Yeah,
Look,
because you never
what's
know
the
what
worst that can
might
happen?
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, like
But do you know
nothing
what I
happened.
would yeah, do you know what I would say now as well though?
Yeah,
Because I only literally got fully into filming 2 years ago now. And what I've learned and what I've achieved just in the past year, because I've
yeah,
really sort of found where I wanted to be, like everything that's happened with the writing and filming has literally happened just from hard work, dedication, enjoyment.
yeah,
And I say to
yeah.
people, I'm in my 40s now, so it's never too late, ever. If anyone's out, I always say that now, especially with what's happened recently. Even if you think, oh, I can't do anything now. Oh my goodness, you can. You put your mind to something, you can do anything.
That's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
And proof fact of this is actually your amazing career. And if you are in HorrorCon UK, which is the 18th of May at 4:30, go
Yeah.
pop on into the film event, Lake on the Cabin, get some prize going clappity clap claps, and judges' prizes will fall from the sky. Or maybe not from the sky, they'll be thrown at you. You might catch them later on.
Yeah.
But that's just an amazing time. Nah, dang it. Now I want to be in Sheffield. I want to be all the places you're mentioning. Like, I want to be going to Belfast.
Come along, come and join us.
Well, tempting is so
We should do a
tempting.
road trip. Me, you, and Lee. Let's head to Northern Ireland. Woo!
We'll talk off air when you say that. Funny you mentioned that because ... Yeah, I'll tell you in a minute. But
Perfect.
thanks, Charlie. It's been an amazing time. I love learning about all your projects, and you have a fascinating life, and I just appreciate everything, and I can't wait to watch your new series that will be coming out one time. I want to watch this series. I'm gonna manifest this. We're
Yeah.
manifesting this right here, and
Thank
of
you
course
so
I'm
much.
gonna read your stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
I
It's
love
been a
it.
pleasure. It's been great speaking to you, and hopefully we will chat again.
Yeah. And people can find you. Where can they find you? Besides right here.
Yeah, I mean, Haunted Magazine website and the Independent Horror Society and Facebook.
Facebook it is.
Haunted Charlie Hall.
Haunted Charlie Hall. Well, thank you very much for myself, Joe, and the rest of us.
Yeah.
Just me again. Say thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.